Well, hello, students. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to another episode of Improved English. I'm your host, Jay. Well, last week I did not do an episode of the podcast. I was really busy, so I didn't hear from any of you guys, so I guess none of you missed last week's episode. But nevertheless, I think this is episode number 18, and sometimes I get a little busy and I am unable to record an episode, and I try to make it up. So I wanted to do something different. Instead of recording from the inside of my office, as you can see, I am in the backyard, and it is a beautiful day here. The sun is about to set, and I just wanted to come out here and record today's video. This lesson I won't have any pictures or words, but I am going to talk slow enough to where some of my beginner and intermediate learners can follow me. So let's get into today's episode. I want to talk to you about a word that is common in English. It's called self-pity. Okay, so today I want to talk about self-pity, what it is, and let's dive into it and have a little learning and laughter while I am outside on today's episode. So self-pity is a feeling we're all familiar with, but it can be, and I'll go so far as to say it is a trap. When life is difficult, it's easy to feel sorry for yourself, and that's what you call self-pity. Okay, it's when we start to believe that our problems are bigger than anyone else's. That feeling as if you're the first person to experience something in your life. You know, life is full of ups and downs and trials and tests and temptation and difficult times, but it's all common to man. I believe there's nothing new under the sun, but sometimes we can go through things in life and we feel sorry for ourselves. That's what you call self-pity. You start to believe that no one understands what you're going through, and that's where self-pity can deceive a person. Okay? And you can get depressed if you allow self-pity to take its roots in your heart and in your mind. And it's something I believe that everyone needs to overcome or should overcome. Self-pity can start while you're young, and even it can happen in your adulthood. But it's something that we should not play around with. Okay? So self-pity, it feels, if I can describe it, it feels like it's comfortable, you know, like it's wrapping yourself, as we would say, in a warm blanket on a cold day. And we tell ourselves it's okay to feel this way. But it's really not. Okay? And you may say things like, I deserve a break. But the more we indulge in self-pity, the more it consumes us. It isolates us from others, making us feel alone and helpless. And we begin to focus only on our own pain, our own helplessness, forgetting that everyone has their own struggle. Yeah, we get real selfish when we allow self-pity to develop in our life. And what we often don't realize is that self-pity is a choice. It's a choice to dwell on the negative, okay? And so sometimes when a person is negative in their thoughts and conversations, we call that person pessimistic, okay? They're always gloomy. They never think positive, or they never believe that things are going to turn around for the better. This is a person that is sulking. That's another word that we use. They sulk. Okay. Sometimes you see people sulk when someone they love dies, or when things don't go their way. They begin to have self-pity. But everyone has someone that they love that dies. Everyone has something difficult that they go through. But it can become challenging just to focus on your personal pain, okay? Always remember there's another choice. So when you talk about self-pity, it's not as we say, one-way street. There's another way you can go. We can choose to acknowledge our feelings without letting them take us over, or as we would say, consume us. We can choose to see the good in our lives, even if it's a small speck of good. We should recognize that there is some good. Even though it may be tough, as we say in English, we should look for the silver lining. Okay? Every cloud has a silver lining. So before I go on talking about self-pity, have you ever experienced self-pity or felt sorry for yourself? Self-pity robs us of our strength. When we're stuck in this mindset, we're not motivated to improve our situation. Why try, you might think, when the world is against us? Every time I try to do good, bad happens. That's a person who has self-pity, and I've been there. But this is a lie, and as I said, it's deceiving to ourselves. The truth is, we are stronger than we think, and we have the power to change our circumstances, or to choose to change our circumstances, or at least how we respond to them. Now, of course, every situation we can't change, because some things are bigger than us. And for me personally, that's when I have to ask God to just help me. Help me so I don't just sulk in my own problems. Now, imagine if we spent as much time focusing on our strengths as we do on our weaknesses. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? We could think, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger from this? How can this experience make me a better person? This shift in a mindset can make all of the difference. And like I said, I know it can be tough, but we must master not being negative or having so much self-pity, and realize that trouble does not last always. Self-pity, as I think about it, is a natural feeling, but it's one we must, we must learn to overcome. It offers temporary comfort, like depression, but it ultimately holds us back. Okay? So as we're learning about self-pity, I want you to remember life will always have challenges, but how we respond to them is up to us. We can choose to let self-pity drag us down, or we can choose to rise above it. Facing our difficult times with courage and resilience. And those are words that I use here in a number of my stories. Resilience, perseverance. I like to tell young people that I mentor, you have to have some fight in you, okay? You have to fight back against what opposes you or is trying to stop your progress. always remember that the choice is yours. So that's self-pity. Okay. One slang term, as I conclude, that we use when it comes to self-pity is a pity party. Okay. Have you ever heard of that? A pity party. I've had some pity parties in my day where I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to focus on my problems. Okay. And that's something we should not do. So let me ask you something. Do you like this format for the podcast where maybe I have a leisure talk with you about different vocabulary words? I like being outside, as many of you know that have been watching me for some time. I like nature. You hear those dogs? They're getting lively. I can smell the fresh grass while I'm out here. I cut the yard yesterday and you can still smell the grass, and it's starting to agitate my sinuses, but it's no smell like fresh grass. So before I conclude, can you tell me in the description what is self-pity? What are some signs of self-pity? And what is a slang term that I taught you that is synonymous with self-pity? That's going to do it for today's podcast episode of Improved English. My name is Jay, and I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me to the end of today's lesson. As I always invite you to do, if this episode has been a help, share it with a friend. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. My wife just got through cooking, and so it's time to go eat. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next English lesson.